Imagine a playground bathed in the eternal light of a 4 o'clock sun. The air smells of mown grass and oxidized iron from the swing sets. Everything here feels safe. Everything here feels permanent. You remember this place from your own childhood. The wooden chips crunch beneath your small sneakers. The world is bounded by a chain-link fence that feels like a fortress. In the center of this sanctuary stands a single child. He holds a string between his thumb and forefinger. At the end of that string dances a balloon. It is not an ordinary balloon. It is a masterpiece of light and color. The surface is a shimmering silver that reflects the entire world back at you. It is the shiniest thing you have ever seen. It glows with an inner radiance that defies the laws of physics. Every other child on the playground stops what they are doing. The slides are abandoned. The seesaws sit tilted and silent. They all move toward the center. They are drawn to the glow. They are mesmerized by the promise of something perfect. The boy with the string begins to blow air into the balloon. He does not use his lungs. He uses a pump made of gold and greed. The balloon expands. It grows from the size of a grapefruit to the size of a beach ball. The silver skin stretches. It becomes a mirror. You see your own face in that mirror. You look younger. You look wealthier. You look like someone who can never lose. The other children start to cheer. They want the balloon to be bigger. They want it to touch the clouds. They begin to offer their lunch money to the boy with the string. They offer their bicycles. They offer their futures. The boy accepts it all. He pumps faster. The balloon is now 10 feet wide. It is 20 feet wide. It is 50 feet wide. It is no longer a toy. It is a monument. The silver surface is now so thin you can see the light of the sun passing through it. The tension is a physical weight in the air. You can hear the molecules of the rubber screaming. They are being pulled toward a breaking point that has no name. The shadow of the balloon begins to cover the playground. The golden light of the afternoon is swallowed by a cold gray dusk. The children do not notice the darkness. They only see the reflection of the silver skin. They believe the balloon is the source of the light. They have forgotten that the sun ever existed. They are playing a game with no rules and infinite rewards. But the air inside the balloon is not air. It is a vacuum of debt. It is a pressurized gas made of promises that can never be kept. The value of the balloon is now measured in the trillions. $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $10 trillion. The numbers have lost all meaning. They are just sounds in the wind. The boy holding the string is now tiny. He is a speck beneath the massive wobbling orb. The string is no longer a thread. It is a cable of steel under impossible tension. The ground beneath the playground begins to crack. The weight of the illusion is too heavy for the earth to bear. You look around at the other children. Their eyes are wide and glassy. They are in a trance. They believe that if the balloon pops, the world will simply start over. They do not understand the physics of a vacuum. They do not understand what happens when $10 trillion of nothingness vanishes in a microsecond. The silence on the playground is now absolute. Even the birds have stopped singing. The wind has died down to a whisper. The balloon is now so large it touches the tops of the trees. The branches claw at the silver skin. The rubber groans like a dying ship. You feel a cold sweat on the back of your neck. You realize that you are not just a spectator. You are standing on the very skin of the balloon. We all are. We have built our houses on this silver curve. We have raised our families in the shadow of this stretching rubber. The high-stakes hook is no longer a metaphor. It is the reality of the gravity pulling at your feet. The playground is gone. There is only the balloon and the void beneath it. The game is not ending. The game has already ended. We are just waiting for the sound of the air escaping. We are waiting for the snap of the steel cable. The trillion-dollar collapse is not a storm on the horizon. It is the very air you are breathing right now. It is the heat of the rubber against your palm. The innocent childhood wonder has been curdled into a cold, looming dread. You look at the boy with the pump. He is no longer smiling. He is terrified. He cannot stop pumping. If he stops, the balloon will sag and the illusion will fail. If he continues, the balloon will burst and the world will end. He is trapped in the momentum of his own creation. The silver surface is now so tight it hums. It vibrates at a frequency that makes your teeth ache. It is the sound of a system reaching its absolute limit. It is the sound of 2025. It is the sound of a trillion-dollar heartbeat skipping. You reach out a finger to touch the silver skin. You want to know if it is real. But deep down, you already know the answer. The balloon is empty. The playground is a lie. The game is over. The shadow has finally covered the entire world. And in the distance, you hear the first faint crack of the rubber giving way. The shiny toy is about to become a black hole. The playground is about to fall into the sky. Welcome to the end of the illusion. Welcome to the reality of the pop. The great pumping machine does not have gears or pistons. It does not run on diesel or steam. It runs on the hottest fuel in the universe. It runs on human desire. Imagine a playground where the sun never sets. Imagine a giant, colorful balloon sitting in the center of the sandbox. Every person on the playground has a small hand pump. The smartest kids told you this was the secret to eternal fun. They told you that if the balloon gets big enough, we can all live inside it. So you start pumping. Your neighbor starts pumping. The teachers and the doctors and the engineers start pumping. Everyone is doing it. That is the first rule of the machine. If everyone is doing it, it cannot be wrong. If everyone is doing it, you are a fool to stand still. The machine begins to hum a low, vibrating note. This is the sound of the artificial intelligence boom. We are pumping raw silicon and dreams into the rubber skin. We are telling the machine to think so we do not have to. Every line of code is another puff of air. Every billion-dollar valuation is a frantic stroke of the pump. We believe the balloon will touch the stars. We believe the rubber can stretch until it covers the moon. But the machine does not just pump dreams. It pumps the heavy, black air of debt. We are borrowing the air from tomorrow to fill the balloon today. We are writing IOUs on the surface of the stretching skin. $10 trillion of promises. $20 trillion of imaginary gold, $100 trillion of things we hope to pay for later. The air inside is getting thin. The pressure inside is getting heavy. The machine moves faster now. The handles are hot to the touch. Our palms are bleeding, but we do not stop. The digital assets are the glitter on the balloon. They are the neon colors that blind us to the thinning walls. We trade pictures of monkeys and strings of invisible numbers. We call it the future because the present is too terrifying to look at. The playground is crowded now. There is no room to move. Every inch of the sand is covered by people with pumps. The smartest adults in the room are the loudest ones cheering. They have PhDs in mathematics and physics. They have suits that cost more than your house. They tell you the physics of the balloon have changed. They say the rubber is now unbreakable. They say the laws of gravity have been repealed by the board of directors. They are trapped in the momentum of the movement. They cannot stop pumping because if they do, the machine will crush them. The great pumping machine is now a living thing. It has a heartbeat that echoes in the stock tickers. It has a breath that smells like burning electricity and ozone. And while we pump, something else is moving. The needle is not a physical object. The needle is a cold, hard fact. It is the moment the first person realizes the balloon is empty. It is the moment the first debt cannot be paid. It is the silver tip of reality moving through the dark. The needle moves 1 millimeter closer every second. The crowd is too busy screaming with joy to see it. They are watching the balloon grow larger and shinier. They are high on the fumes of the pumping machine. They have convinced themselves that the needle does not exist. They call the people who see the needle. They call them. But the needle does not care about names. The needle does not have ears. It only has a point. It is a silent, silver ghost drifting toward the overstretched skin. The skin of the balloon is now so thin you can see through it. You can see the ghosts of past bubbles trapped inside. You can see the ghosts of 1929. You can see the ghosts of 2008. They are reaching out, trying to warn us. But the hum of the machine is too loud. The playground logic is absolute. If I stop pumping, I lose. If I keep pumping, we all win forever. This is the psychological trap of the century. It is the madness of the collective. It is the campfire that grows until it consumes the forest. The needle is now 1 inch away. The air pressure inside the balloon is screaming. The rubber is making a sound like a violin string about to snap. It is a high, thin whistle that sets your nerves on fire. The smartest men are now sweating. They see the silver glint in the corner of their eye. They are pumping faster now, hoping the volume will push the needle away. But the laws of the universe are not up for negotiation. The great pumping machine is hitting its red line. The gears are starting to grind and throw sparks. The debt is too heavy. The AI is too hungry. The digital gold is too hollow. The playground is about to become a graveyard of rubber. The needle touches the surface. It does not break it yet. It just rests there, one tiny point of contact between infinite delusion and cold reality. The surface dimples. The tension across the balloon reaches 1 trillion pounds per square inch. The world holds its breath. The music on the playground stops. The pumps go silent. In that 1 second of perfect stillness, we all see it. We see the thinness of the lie. We see the height of the fall. We see the needle. And then, the pressure from inside meets the point from outside. The great pumping machine has finished its work. The game of everyone is doing it has reached its final player. The silver skin begins to tear. Not with a bang, but with a rip that sounds like the sky breaking. The shadow of the balloon vanishes. The light of the sun hits the playground for the first time in years, and we are left standing in the sand holding empty pumps. The machine is dead. The needle is gone. The air is escaping with the sound of 1,000 dying screams. Welcome to the second after the pop. Welcome to the debris of the dream. Welcome to the truth. The air stops moving. The world holds its breath for a heartbeat that feels like an eternity. Gravity remembers us all at once. The giant shadow that once covered the sun is gone. The sky is suddenly too bright and too empty. The silence is not a lack of noise. The silence is a physical weight. It presses against your eardrums until they ache. It screams louder than the pumping machine ever did. The golden mist of the dream has cleared. The floor is no longer rising beneath your feet. The elevator cable has snapped in the dark. We are falling through the empty space where our wealth used to live. The vacuum left behind by the burst is a cold and hungry thing. It sucks the heat from the room. It draws the oxygen from your lungs. The first thing you feel is the wind. It is the sound of 1 trillion sighs escaping at the same time. It is the sound of paper promises turning back into dust. Welcome to the second after the pop. Welcome to the debris of the great hallucination. Look down at your hands. They are raw and red. They are bleeding from the friction of the string. You held on for too long. You believed the string was a lifeline to the stars. You thought the balloon would carry you to a place where work was a memory. But the string was a tether to a ghost. The children who did not let go are the ones who flew the highest. They are the ones who saw the curve of the earth. Now they are the ones who must endure the longest fall. They are scattered across the playground like broken dolls. They are clutching scraps of colored rubber. They are weeping over shards of nothing. They thought the balloon was a kingdom. They thought the thin silver skin was an iron wall. Now they realize the gold was just a reflection of a dying sun. The ground is covered in the remains of the giant. Pink and blue and silver fragments litter the dirt. They cover the streets of the city like a winter of plastic. They clog the gears of the banks and the vents of the towers. They drift through the hallways of houses that were never homes. The numbers on the screens have frozen in fear. They have turned black. The binary code has become a digital graveyard. 10100. Nothing remains but the ghost of the math. The printers are jammed with paper that no one wants to touch. The ink smells like old lies and sour milk. The wind picks up the debris and tosses it into the gutter. The sky is blue again, but it feels like a mockery. We are standing in the wreckage of a billion, maybe next. We are standing in the ruins of the get-rich. The playground is quiet now. The game of everyone is doing it has no more players. The silence is the truth, finally making itself heard. But do not close your eyes. Do not fall into the sleep of the defeated. This is not the end of the world. This is only the end of the lie. The wreckage is not a tomb. It is a quarry. Look at what survived the impact. The plastic swords are snapped. The digital pets have starved to death. The imaginary friends have vanished into the smoke. But the stones are still there. The wood is still heavy. The seeds in your pocket still have a heartbeat. The sun still knows how to bake the clay. This is the moment of the great filter. This is where we find the real toys. A real toy does not need a battery to exist. A real toy does not need a crowd to tell you it has value. A real toy works when the lights go out for the last time. It has weight and it has texture. It has a soul built of utility and sweat. A hammer is a real toy. A sack of grain is a real toy. The ability to fix a broken engine is a real toy. The knowledge of how to grow a tomato is a real toy. A plot of land with a deep well is the ultimate toy. These are the things that do not pop. These are the things that do not deflate when the needle arrives. The next era will not be built on dreams of floating. It will be built on the logic of the earth. You must learn to see the difference between the shadow and the tree. The shadow is the price tag on a screen. The tree is the wood that keeps you warm. The shadow changes with the position of the sun. The tree stays rooted in the middle of the storm. Collect the trees and ignore the shadows. Build a fence made of things that people actually need to survive. Water, warmth, wisdom, work. These 4 pillars are the only currency that matters in the wreckage. The children who let go of the string are already building. They did not waste their energy screaming at the sky. They looked at the sand and saw the minerals. They looked at the wind and saw the power. They are the new architects of the hard world. They are no longer looking for a bigger balloon to lift them up. They are building a foundation of stone that cannot be moved. They are planting gardens in the craters left by the pop. The era of the children of the air is over. The era of the children of the earth has begun. The sun is rising over the new horizon now. It is a different kind of light than the one we knew before. It is steady and it is honest. It is a light that reveals the truth of things. It shows the cracks in the old walls. It shows the strength in the new hands. The wreckage is being cleared away piece by piece. We are melting down the scrap metal of the old dreams. We are forging tools for the long winter. We are learning to speak a language that has no words for. We are learning to speak a language that only knows. The playground is yours again, but the game has changed. The air is clean and the ground is firm. The game of air is a ghost story we tell to keep us awake. The age of the real has arrived with a vengeance. Pick up your tools and do not look back. There is a house to build. There is a world to grow. There is a life to live that cannot be burst by a needle. The sky is empty, and that is the greatest gift of all. It means we are finally free to walk. Walk toward the horizon, find the real toys. The future is heavy, and it is beautiful. It is waiting for someone who knows how to hold it. It is waiting for you. 1,000 times 1,000 blessings on the hands that work. 0 blessings on the hands that only hold strings. The lesson is finished. The world is beginning. The pop was the best thing that ever happened to us. Now we can finally see what is real. Now we can finally play for keeps.